Hello and welcome to the Brotherhood of Geeks. I'm Brett J. Rasmussen, and I am here to do our post E3 2021 review, reactions, all that kind of good stuff. We're going to be doing things a little bit differently this time. We are going to be separated between pretty much Spectre and Guru Blaze. And some of the other talent if possible. But we're definitely going to have Spectre and Guru Blaze talk about E3 and their opinions of it after everything. But the way it's going to work is that I'm going to go ahead and talk to Spectre first, and we're going to talk about our own opinions of that. And then after that, I'm going to be talking to Guru Blaze about his opinions of E3 and what he thought, and then if there is anyone else from the talent, like Mr. Dennison, who was on the reactions for Xbox and Square Enix, he may be here. If not, that'll be it. So with all of that being said, let's begin with Spectre.
Hey, well, this is more of like an autopsy than a reaction.
Yeah, Spectre.
This was a rough E3. I predicted that beforehand. I knew it was. Remember, I said that beforehand. Like, I would be happy if there was even one thing that really surprised me or made me like like go ooh ah, and I mean there wasn't really any moment like that. I mean, it was very.
I disagree, but like again, if it was the
well, I know for you, I mean, like a sunrise gets a reaction out of you. I mean, for me,
I don't know if you saw my reactions for Elden Ring and for freaking Avatar, like, and like most of the stuff at Nintendo, like.
I know you're not like in love with everything, but I mean, we have. I mean, I think we're polar opposites in that regard. I think you tend to. There's a lot of things that you can really get behind and love, and for me, I'm kind of more of the jaded, more of the bitter, cynical crowd, and
I feel bad that I feel bad that you're that kind of gamer where you're just like, man, everything's bad, everything sucks.
The upside to it, though, is when you do have those moments where you're really impressed by something, it's really kind of magical. So that's kind of the upside to it. So I mean, it's really high highs and just otherwise a pretty consistent low. So yeah, so this was definitely a pretty consistent low. That's how my overall thoughts of E3 was. This was a pretty dull affair. I think in some ways even worse than last year, which didn't even really have like.
Well, we didn't have an E3 last year. It was like
well, I mean, there was kind of a quasi E3 with the game events and everything.
Well, it was like technically we didn't have an E3. It was just separated between like.
Well, you know
Xbox.
What I mean.
I do. But this was a complete E3. But with all of that being said, we're gonna go ahead and begin. We're going to go ahead and talk about each show, and then we're going to kind of choose like our favorite game from it, or like the most anticipated from each show. And then me and Spectre are going to choose, Spectre's going to go ahead and choose his most anticipated game and game of show and best in show, so best presentation, whichever press conference, in Spectre's opinion, was the best one. And then I'll be doing the same with Guru Blaze, and then I'll be giving my own opinion with both of them. By myself, who knows? I'll figure it out. So, let's begin with the Summer Game Fest kickoff. It wasn't actually part of E3 officially, but like it was the very first thing that kind of started the entire thing. So, at Summer Game Fest, all of the games that got announced, and we had some surprises, but pretty much the biggest games that got announced was Sky Children of Light on the Switch from that game company, which will be coming out June 29th, 2021. Tribes of Midgard by Norsefell, July 27th of 2021. Sable by Shedworks, coming out September 23rd, 2021. The Dark Pictures House of Ashes by Supermassive, coming out October 22nd, 2021. Lost Ark by Smilegate, coming out this fall, so fall of 2021. Jurassic World Evolution 2 by Frontier, coming out sometime 2021. Vampire the Masquerade Blood Hunt by Shark Mob, also coming out sometime in 2021. Elden Ring, which was the big finale for it, coming out January 21st, 2022. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands by Gearbox coming out sometime early 2022, and Two Point Campus by Two Point Studios sometime in 2022. Um, so I'll let you start, Spectre, because this is your bit. So tell me about the Summer Game Fest. What did you think about the Summer Game Fest? We didn't really talk about it because I did my own reactions for it, but I want to know what
Yeah,
you thought.
yeah, this one, well, this one in Ubisoft, I actually skipped and I basically read the cliff notes of it. Like, I
You're
knew there was not really going
terrible.
to be, I knew there was not going to be much here for me at all. So, and I was 100% correct. There really was nothing of note here, unless you're a Dark Souls fan, in which case you got another game coming out and you have a release date. So that's great for them. But for everybody else, there really was not much here. I mean, you just listed all the games there. I mean, really, I mean, if you take out Elden Ring, which I do because I'm not a Dark Souls player, which is not for me. Aside from that, I guess I would have to default to Jurassic World Evolution 2. I didn't play the first game yet. I've watched a lot of people play the first game. It looks interesting. It's like a simulation game of running like a Jurassic Park, essentially, like a tycoon type style game, which I do
Mhm.
love, like sim and kind of management style games. So I could see myself getting into that. I think I have it on a wish list somewhere, so I might get around to that eventually. So that would be the only game really there that I would be interested in. Vampire the Masquerade, of course, is a sequel to a much beloved PC game that's from forever ago now. It's an old game now. But in terms of why I'm not excited for that, I mean, I know it's had a very, very troubled development. So that is definitely a wait and see game for me. I intrigued by it. I dabbled in the first game a little bit. I'm not like a super hardcore nut about it like some people are, but I've dabbled into the first game.
Mhm.
Looks really good. It's something I would play, but yeah, that's definitely a wait and see. So I guess I'll give it to Jurassic Evolution just by default.
Was it because of the Jeff Goldblum opening?
Well, I do like Jeff Goldblum a lot.
I loved it. I thought it
Not
was
so much
awesome.
for yeah, not so much for. I mean, I love him in the Fly. That was a very fun role for him. It was such a fascinating movie. So I love him for the Fly. That's kind of where I probably my favorite Jeff Goldblum movie. But of course, I mean, he's fantastic in Jurassic Park,
Yeah.
and I hope. I know there's a sequel to Jurassic Park coming out. I think sometime next year, and I think they're bringing back a lot more of the characters. So hopefully, he makes yet another appearance. That'd be great. But yeah, I mean, it's always good to kind of make these little nods back to the original. Jurassic Park is very much a series that's banking on nostalgia. I think in the original iconography, they kind of jam that into everything. It's very much like Star Wars, where it lives and dies by its you know. Nostalgia essentially in a way.
Mhm.
Uh, but yeah, I guess I'll give it to that. I mean, like I said, I love simulation games in general. That'd be of the games you mentioned. That would probably be the only game I would warrant a purchase for.
You don't like Borderlands, do you?
Not at all. No,
Okay.
and I've given it plenty. And I say that as someone that's played and completed Borderlands One, Borderlands Two, uh, kind of played pre-sequel a little bit, not really. So I mean, you can't say I didn't give it a chance. I played two full games, and I'm not into it. It just feels like the most boring parts of an MMO mixed with some very just very miss the mark style humor. Very much this kind of Reddit tier humor that just yeah, I mean I don't think that game made me laugh once really. I mean it's got some cutesy moments and I give them credit for kind of popularizing that cell shaded art style, which I think they did because it probably saves them in terms of performance in that game. I know the original Borderlands, if you actually remember way back to Borderlands 1, the reveal for it, they wanted to go for much more realistic graphics. Yeah, so aside from that, yeah, I'm definitely not a Borderlands fan, so I don't care about
Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, because
19. Yeah,
that looks great. I love it that it's
yeah,
a
yeah, that's a hard pass for me.
oh dude, I love it that it's a separate. It's gonna be. It's Borderlands 2, the Tiny Tina's dungeon, the D&D DLC, but they've turned it into its own separate game, and I love it. I love that DLC. Now it's gonna be more of a RPG where instead of just like character trees, It's now your character. You get to make your character, and then you get to level up your character, and you get to stat him out in the way you want. I love that. But for me, like if you haven't seen our my reactions to this, it was Elden Ring. Elden Ring definitely the takeaway from this for me. So yeah, but yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I know you're not as much of a Dark Souls player either, but I think you have dabbled in that more than I have.
mm-hmm.
For me, I mean, it's I don't get me wrong, I love From Software.
Yeah.
I mean, fantastic developer. I really would love for them to go back and revive the Armored Core series. Armored Core is one of my favorite
If only they
franchises.
would bring back Armored Core, then Spectre will play
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I mean, then I would play it. Yeah, and it's one of those series I think because I mean we're in a time where we're re-releasing everything, we're reviving all these dormant franchises. Like we just talked about Vampire Masquerade, like you talked about an old franchise there too. Um, like why not bring back Armored Core? It's like I mean you bring it back everything else, bring back Armored Core. I think that that's something I would like to see.
Okay. The next, so that was on Thursday the 10th. So then E3 finally started on Saturday the 12th, and the first press conference we got was for the first big one was from Ubisoft. And from there, we got Riders Republic from Ubisoft Annecy, which is coming out September 2nd, 2021. Rainbow Six Extraction from Ubisoft Montreal, September 16th of 2021. Just Dance 2022 from Ubisoft Paris, uh, Pune, sorry, Shanghai, and Room 8, which comes out November 4th, 2021. Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope from Ubisoft Milan in 2022, and Avatar Frontiers of Pandora from Massive Entertainment in 2022. So yeah, let's talk about Ubisoft.
If we have to.
Also, I forgot to mention, they did like this. There were like 6 items that they went through. The sixth item is, there will be more Assassin's Creed content, but they're not making a new Assassin's Creed game. It's going to be more content for Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So probably more expansion. So again, they're just adding more to Valhalla. So yeah. All right, Spectre, go ahead.
Yeah, I like I said, this was another one that I skipped. I always skipped anything Ubisoft related. I'm not a fan of any of the games they make. I don't like. I think the last game they published that I enjoyed was the South Park games. I mean at least there is something I like. But Assassin's Creed, I've said it a thousand times. I really wanted to like Assassin's Creed. I think the original Assassin's Creed was okay. It was not the game I was hoping it was going to be. I kind of followed it before launch. I was hoping it was going to be a different game, but turned out quite different. But yeah, anyways, in general, yeah, for Ubisoft, I'm not a fan. I usually skip their presentations. So I guess I mean it's of the games you mentioned here. I mean, I guess I'll just go with the Mario game, the Mario Rabbids game, just as sort of pretty much because I have to pick one. So
Well, did you play Mario Rabbids Mushroom Kingdom Battle?
No.
Why? It plays like XCOM.
Yeah, I'm just not interested in it. To be honest with you.
Don't you? I thought you liked XCOM.
I never really played XCOM.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm wrong then.
I mean, XCOM doesn't look that bad. I mean, I don't mind kind of those tactical style games. I was never like a huge XCOM player or anything like that. So I mean, yeah, I mean, like I said, just because I have to pick one, I'll go with that. I did used to love Rainbow Six back in the day. It's a very different game now. It's not really for me. Just never got into Rainbow Six Siege. I guess that would be the one, another one I'd be more likely to play.
Yeah.
Of the things that you mentioned there. I mean, I'm definitely not going to be playing Just Dance or anything else there. So yeah, Ubisoft, and of course, they didn't have Far Cry at that show. It was at different shows, right?
No. So we got more. We got another trailer from Far Cry 6. It was actually really good. There were only 2 things from the Ubisoft show that I got that I was like, oh yeah, and probably Mario at 3. So I'll count 3. But they showed off. So we got another trailer from Far Cry 6. and I've already been excited for that game for a while now. But what I'm really excited for is in the season pass. There is content where you get to play as Voss, Pagan Min, and Joseph Seed from Far Cry 3, 4, and 5. Like I think it's like they come back from the dead and now you are in their perspective and now they're off to kill the protagonist from each of their respective games. Oh man, I'm looking forward to that. Oh god. I like Far Cry is so I love Far Cry because it sells you on their villains and that's why you play it. And the gameplay is fun in my
I don't know.
opinion.
Maybe the villains get better in like because the last Far Cry game I played was I think Far Cry 3. I just
That's the
remember
best
them.
one. Far Cry 3 is
It,
the best one.
I mean, it was a pretty forgettable game. I mean,
I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, especially in the story and character front. I mean, it's not you don't really play those games for their story. It's more so for just kind of the fun open world shenanigans.
Boss is the biggest thing I remember from playing 3.
I just remember him being sidetracked for another villain. He's not even like the main villain in the game. He's like a lackey.
Yeah, no. That they made a massive mistake with that. Like, because it was a twist. What happened is that, like, spoilers, but if you haven't played Far Cry 3, go play it, and then yeah. But anyway, that's a twist. Is that you think Voss?
They go back, what a twist. Yeah, we supplant that villain for the classic evil white guy villain. I think he even has an accent too.
Yeah, I don't know, but Voss is great. I love Voss. But yeah. So Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope. That is definitely looks exciting. Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. Before I get to there, I just want to quickly hit Riders Republic. Fine. It's mountain biking and flying, and I was just like, okay, it looks fun. And then Rainbow Six Extraction is just it's an online game, and it just is not Resident Evil or whatever. Like, I don't know. It looked really bland, and graphically, I was like, ugh. I don't know. I feel like you've only been in development for like a year or two, and it's not as fleshed out as I feel like you want it to be, but it is what it is. I don't know.
Didn't wow you. Yeah, no, I mean,
it did not.
Avatar is a kind of interesting, but just because of how sort of bizarre it is. I mean, this is a game like 12 years removed from its companion film.
2009 is
literally like 12, 13 years, which is kind of crazy. I mean, it's I'm definitely, to put my cards on the table, I am not an Avatar fan at all. I thought the movie was incredibly bland and banal and pedestrian. I think
what do you mean?
The movie was that the plot was basically a.
What do you mean you didn't like Fern Gully? Wait. What did you mean? Wait. What did you mean that you? Gully, hold on. What did you mean that you didn't like Fern Gully? Wait. What did you mean that you didn't like Atlantis: The Lost Empire? What do you mean that you didn't like Avatar?
Fern Gully is a great kids film. Because it kind of works off that kid logic.
You're talking about Atlantis: The Lost Empire, right? That movie.
Yeah, that's also a great kids film. I mean, with its kind of very simplistic message. And then I was never impressed by the super awesome computer graphics. I thought it was kind of wasted for that film because they were going for like this kind of naturalistic kind of like nature world of Pandora, where it wasn't like sprawling cityscapes and like kind of like this cyberpunk city or anything. It was like a giant forest planet, and CG looks really fake when it comes to like natural stuff. So I think they missed their opportunity to make it more of like a high tech society. That would have looked really cool with the computer graphics and everything. But they had a message they were trying to jam down our throats. So
I enjoyed Avatar, but that's beside the point.
I do like James Cameron a lot. I mean, two of my favorite films of all time, of course, Terminator 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
So I do like James Cameron a lot. I think he's obviously he's got probably the biggest ego in Hollywood. But I mean, I do enjoy some of his films.
But regardless, relating to Avatar, Frontiers of Pandora, I was very surprised and I very much did laugh at this. The trailer did look good. It definitely did look good, but it was a trailer. Trailers can look good. We've seen that proven with like Cyberpunk and Watch Dogs and Anthem and other stuff. So I'm not saying that this game could fall into that, but I have a lot of hesitations to Avatar Frontiers of Pandora because Ubisoft developed Avatar the game back in '09 on the PS3 when the movie was coming out, and that game is trash. I even talked about it at the end of Ubisoft's conference, and the trailer looks good, and it's using the new Snowdrop engine, which Snowdrop has been being used, I believe, on the Assassin's Creed games and Rainbow Six Siege, and so on and so on. But it's their newest engine that they've been using, so it looks really good. I don't have a lot of faith because right now Ubisoft, when it comes to their own games like Assassin's Creed Valhalla and Odyssey, have been like Odyssey is bad when it comes to being an Assassin's Creed game.
Well, I do think you bring up a great point that we need to really take everything they say with a grain of salt. I think we'll never forget the original Watch Dogs reveal trailer and the contrasting that with the final product that we got.
Yeah, so
I think really every trailer you see, you really need to take with a big grain of salt.
like that's why I very much applaud PlayStation on when they announce their big games. They show a demo, a straight demo of like gameplay. And I very much enjoyed that. And we actually had a conference that showed that off, and we'll get to there in a bit. But yeah, Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, I was like, what? But anyway, let's move on. So there's that. So if I had to choose what game I'm looking forward to most from Ubisoft, I would also go Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope, because I have more faith in that game than any of the rest. From Devolver Digital had the craziest and weirdest of all of them. They had Death's Door by Acid Nerve, which comes out July 20th, 2021. Inscription by Daniel Mullins Games, 2021. Tumble Time by No Popo, coming out 2021. Demon Throttle by Doinksoft, 2022. Trek to Yomi by Leonard Menciari, Flying Wild Hog, coming out 2022, and Wizard with the Gun, Galvantic Games 2022. I love Devolver Digital's press conferences because they're always crazy, nuts, and this one was kind of very much satirizing like the video game industry with Devolver, like what was it, Devolver Max Pass Plus or whatever, and they're making fun of like Game Pass and PlayStation Plus and all the subscription services, and it was like really much making fun of the video game industry. And I love their conferences. But out of all the games that I'm looking forward to, I'd definitely say Trek to Yomi. That one was the most interesting to me.
Yeah, I mean, this is another one I didn't see. I think you and I had really different priorities when it came to E3 conferences. I mean, I was more interested in like I watched the PC game show, for example. I think that may be one that you had skipped. The same with the I watched the actually the surprisingly really good the limited run games event that they had on, I believe that was on Monday.
Yeah.
So I focused on those, and I was fairly happy with the limited run game show one. That one was actually really good, and the PC game show had moments, I guess. It might be like one game, like maybe like Warhammer Chaos Gate. I'll be looking forward to out of that, and Gabe Newell made an appearance there, so he's always a lot of fun to see. But anyways, for the Devolver Digital, I mean, I am not really into their games either. I don't think I watched their conference last year, so I really don't have like a comment. I'll pass it to you. I'll take your word for it. It's just not, I just can't think of anything that's coming out of that I've really.
You don't like weird, like kind of like off kilter, like off the beaten path indie stuff, do you?
Depends on what it is. But for the most part, I mean, I haven't seen anything that's come out of that I don't know. Maybe I have played a game for them. I just don't really know enough about it.
Okay. Well, no
Like,
problem.
you maybe give me some examples of games. I've never really
Hotline Miami is
don't
like
like
a big
it.
one.
Not a
Um,
fan.
like they have a bunch of them. Let me see. I can't remember off the top of my head. Devolver Digital. I just want to go ahead and pull up a list of their games quickly, and then we'll move on. Do 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 do. Oh, Fall Guys before they were bought. Hotline Miami, Serious Sam, Carry On.
Serious Sam is good.
Yep. Let's see. Disc Room, Grease, Loop Hero, Enter the Gungeon, Shadow Warrior 3, Downwell, let's see. Broforce, Talos Principle. Yeah, there's a good number of games. Shadow Warrior, Absolver. So yeah, like they have a lot of it's a lot of like double A like kind of stuff. Like it's known, but it's not triple A if that makes any sense.
No, I gotcha.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was that, and then we moved on to I believe it is day two. Yep, it was day two, which was Sunday. So we had the Xbox conference, which this you were here. It was you, me, and Mr. Dennison for this.
Yes.
And I'll do a quick rundown. We'll try to move through this pretty quickly because we didn't really have our kind of our post talk about it, but we'll go through here. So, Flight Simulator on Series X and S by Asobo Studio, July 27th of 2021. The Ascent by Neon Giant, July 29th, 2021. Hades on Xbox and PlayStation consoles. Supergiant Games, August 13th of 2021. 12 Minutes by Louis Antonio, August 19, 2021. Psychonauts 2 by Double Fine, August 25th of 2021. Origami 2 by Lince Works by coming out September 17th, 2021. Diablo 2 Resurrected by Blizzard Entertainment and Vicarious Visions. Good. September 23rd, 2021. Battlefield 2042 by DICE, October 22nd, 2021. Age of Empires 4 by Relic Entertainment, October 28th of 2021. Forza Horizon 5 by Playground Games, November 9th, 2021. The Anacrusis by Stray Bombay, fall of 2021. Shredders, Eye Illusions, December 2021. Halo Infinite by 343 Industries, holiday of 2021. Among Us on Xbox by Innersloth 2021. Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl, by GSC Game World, April 28th, 2022. Redfall by Arcane Austin in summer of 2022. Starfield by Bethesda Game Studios, November 11th, 2022. A Plague Tale Requiem, Asobo Studio, 2022. Iriden Chronicle Rising by Rabbit and Bear, 2022. Party Animals by Recreate Games in 2022. Replace Sad Cat Studios in 2022. Slime Rancher 2 by Manami Park in 2022. Somerville by Jump Ship in 2022. Iriden Chronicle Rising and Iriden Chronicle 100 Heroes. Rising is coming out in 2022. 100 Heroes comes out in 2023. This was the biggest and longest of all the conferences, and I think it was this and Nintendo that had the best showing between the two. And this conference did a lot to show, hey, here are your reasons to get an Xbox or to buy it on Game Pass or to play it on PC. Like, here are the games. You wanted games. You've been asking for exclusive games, the games that you need to play on Xbox. Here they are. Like, they very much shown how badly, like, they very much did great salesmanship to show why you want to get an Xbox or play on PC? Because I know your whole thing, Spectre, is that like, well, no, they're not exclusive because you can play on PC. But
Well,
like,
yeah, they are. I mean, they're console exclusive. That's really becoming. I mean, even with Sony, that's kind of becoming the main buzzword is things are console exclusive. Really, the only company that's focused on actual exclusives is still Nintendo. So yeah, so I mean, and really the vast majority of the games you mentioned here are coming out also for PlayStation as well. So I mean, there's a handful in here that are exclusive, and even then, we don't. And some of these might be timed exclusive as well. I know a couple are.
mhm.
So it's yeah, you really when you whittle it down, it's a much smaller list, and um, yeah, I mean, there was some. When you show this many games, of course, there's gonna be a couple that are gonna be impressive, or at least you would hope. I mean, really, what stood out for me, a couple of things stood out. Stalker 2 looks great. I dabble. Once again, it's another old franchise that's being revived. It's an old PC game that's being revived. Looks really good. I liked what they showed off. I could see myself playing that.
Yeah.
So that's you know no complaints there. It was a decent length of a trailer that they showed as well too, with some gameplay mixed in as well. Good atmosphere to it. Graphics look great. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, that one impressed me quite a bit. Hey, this is the first time we really got to see Halo multiplayer for Halo Infinite. Looks okay. It's hard
You
to
can go
care
ahead and
about
shut.
Halo.
You can go ahead and shut your face. It looks amazing. But anyway, it's your
It
opinion.
looks okay. I mean, it's hard to care about Halo. It's Halo's kind of been dead to me since Reach, and some would say even before that. Really ever since Bungie left it behind. So I mean, and even then, I was never like an ultra fan of Halo. I dabbled in it. I enjoyed it. It never was my favorite shooter. But I mean, this looks okay. It kind of reminded me of Reach in some ways in terms of the gameplay. Um, so I guess that's something to look forward to there. Uh, Only other things of note: Atomic. It's called Atomic Heart, right? I don't want to miss the title.
I
Um,
believe so. Let me just double check.
I believe so. I think it's Atomic Heart or Atomic. Yeah, it's Atomic Heart. Yeah, that's
Okay.
the uh it's like a role playing game, kind of this like Russian like role playing game, very very stylistic. That looks interesting. Of course, though, like I said, once again, that's something that's also coming to PlayStation as well. But I mean that does look really cool. It was good to see that. Only other thing I really wrote down for my notes here was Age of Empires 4. I'm a huge Age of Empires fan.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, been playing Age of Empires 2 since the 90s. Love that game. It's had really a revival. It's kind of amazing that there's actually a community with like tournaments and stuff still going on for a 20-plus-year-old game. So I mean, it's cool to see that they are continuing it on here. I do have my doubts. I'm not a fan of the graphical style of this game. I think the Age of Empires 2, kind of the sprite style and everything that they had, it had a for lack of a better term, it had like a soulful quality to it.
Mm-hmm.
There's something special about it, and I think some of the magic is gone when you have more of like a 3D generated world essentially for the game. So I don't know. We'll see how that turns out. I have my doubts. I think Age of Empires 2 will still be the gold standard for that series, but we'll see how that turns out. Aside from that, I mean, not much else. I guess it's good that Flight Simulator is coming to Xbox. I mean, I think that's more of a PC game, but it's good that you can play that on Xbox as well. Same with Age of Empires. I don't know how you would play Age of Empires on an Xbox unless you just hook up a keyboard and mouse. At which point, why don't you just play it on PC? Um, so yeah, I mean, there was a lot of games here, though. I mean, this was a very jam packed, and thankfully there wasn't a lot of like fluff or filler or anything. It was game,
No.
game, game,
Mm-hmm.
game,
Yeah.
game. There was some cute stuff in there. Slime Rancher was in there, and
Yep.
Party Animals looked really cute as well too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to have some lighthearted games in there too.
Yeah. No,
Uh,
I agree.
so so yeah, so I think overall, I think this was a pretty strong showing. I don't think, I mean, for me, I don't see the value in an Xbox. Maybe, or really Game Pass for that matter. I mean, maybe if you're on like an extreme budget or something like that, I don't know. I don't see the value of it for me personally. But for some people, I mean, maybe like some people like yourself are for some reason intimidated by PC gaming, so it's there for you. And for people that like to dabble in a lot of different games, it's Game Pass has value. So I think Xbox, I mean, they did a good job showing all that off. Kind
I
of what you get
mean,
out of it.
like,
A lot of these are coming to Game Pass, so that's showing the value of it.
well, it,
One last thing I'll mention is we did finally see some more another showing for Starfield,
yeah.
which we didn't really get much out of it. It's been described as I believe Todd Howard described it originally as Skyrim in space. So we'll see how that actually shakes out. We didn't really get much from the quote unquote gameplay trailer that we saw. And once again, Starfield, I have a suspicion that it will be another timed exclusive. I that's my suspicion
No, it's
right now.
not. No, it's not.
I
It
think
is
I think I think that I think it will be a timed exclusive.
no. It has been
I'm calling it.
confirmed. It has been confirmed by Xbox. It is not timed. This is only on
There was
Xbox.
another game that was confirmed by Xbox to be an exclusive too. That was called Cuphead.
What? No.
Yes, it was. It was confirmed to be an exclusive, and now it's on Switch. It's on PlayStation. I like I said. Oh, I could be wrong, but I think
I believe that was timed. But like,
no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. That's not how it was originally presented. But yeah, no, I think it will ultimately be a timed exclusive.
like, dude, we like, like, people were mad. Todd Howard had to apologize to PlayStation gamers because it's not coming to their system. And look, I mean, we could probably talk about this, and we're talking about E3, but we'll talk about this for a
Yeah,
little
yeah. I
bit.
mean, that's
Well,
that's a
like,
separate topic,
we'll talk
But
about. I'll bring this up for a little bit, but pretty much what it like. It is way better for Xbox and Microsoft. Am I a fan of it? No, because I'm a PlayStation gamer and I would rather play it on my PlayStation, of course. But it does make way more sense. Like, it is forcing you to go. You have to go here. It does it suck for the players, maybe, but they're trying to funnel you into Game Pass, into PC, into Xbox to play Starfield. There is a reason why Microsoft acquired ZeniMax, Bethesda, for that. If they had,
and I think it's to have more for I mean, look what they've done with it so far. They pushed everything that Bethesda had onto Game Pass. I think it's part of the idea here is to strengthen their Game Pass even more and make it more of a more
of
of a value
course,
proposition for
of
that.
course, game
I think that's what it's about. And
the
I
like we're
ultimately I think what they would want is to have Game Pass even on other systems. That was the rumor for a while.
Game Pass. They
So
want like Game Pass is going to become the new. We're not Nintendo, PlayStation, and Xbox are no longer playing the same game. Nintendo hasn't been playing the same game as PlayStation and Xbox since the GameCube. Since the Wii, they've gone on to do their own thing. And then PlayStation and Xbox have been fighting each other for the same piece of the pie. This generation, it is two completely different things. It is two completely different things. PlayStation is doing their whole thing with like 3D, with 3D like Tempest audio and 3D
okay, well,
audio,
I
and
mean, I don't want to get you off on a tangent, but I mean, I mean, it's a topic we can table for another time. But yeah, like I said, overall, this was a very strong showing.
yeah,
I thought this was it was a barrage of video games. That's what we're here to see. Not a ton that I was like super crazy impressed with, but I mean, there was at least a couple. Nothing shocking, nothing earth shattering that we got out of this. But I was hoping that we would see maybe some more information about Fable, or something like maybe like a now that they have Bethesda, maybe some information about Elder Scrolls 6, like even a title would be great. So there was no like bombshell moment for this.
Starfield was
But
going to be first before Elder Scrolls. This has been known
yeah,
knowledge for years.
Starfield's a giant question mark.
They wanted to do like the only reason they showed that trailer for Elder Scrolls 6, what was it, in 2018, 2019 or something? They only did that so that way people could shut up and know that they're working on it. That's it.
Probably, yeah. I mean, for a second, I thought they kind of teased. I thought it was going to be like another. It turned out just to be more Fallout 76 DLC. But for a second, I'm like, no way, are they really showing like Fallout 5 here?
Yeah.
But it was just more Fallout 76
Yeah.
DLC. So
But my biggest takeaway from this was definitely very good. It was between this and Nintendo. We'll talk about Nintendo in a bit. For me, I'm the most excited for Halo Infinite. I've been excited for that. Halo Infinite looks great. The new Arcane game, Redfall. That's just a trailer, but I love Arcane, and that's kind of why.
it looks like trash.
Whatever. Um, 12 minutes. I actually am looking forward to playing. I am excited to play that game. I like the very heavily story driven games. Um,
That looks like a free game you get on like Gold or Plus or something.
Whatever, dude. And then Plague Tale Requiem, Plague Tale Innocence. The first one is fantastic. I love that game, and they're doing a sequel to it that's going to be phenomenal. But yeah, so then after you were here for this one too, it was the Square Enix conference. It was Square Enix Presents. Um, so it opened, and pretty much almost half the show was this, which was Guardians of the Galaxy by Eidos Montreal, coming out October 26, 2021. Life is Strange Remastered Collection by Deck 9 and Don't Nod Entertainment, September 30th, 2021. And then also more of Life is Strange True Colors. We got Hitman Sniper The Shadows by Square Enix Montreal. And then we got, it ended with Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin by Team Ninja, which comes out sometime in 2022. And I believe I hit everything. And then, of course, they showed off more of Intergrades, like, hey, here's this, so on and so on.
Well, this was I mean, this was like talk about the it gets better at the end. I mean, this was the first 2/3 of this were just awful. I mean,
I
wow.
don't know what you're talking about. You're just wrong, Spectre.
I mean, like I said, I'm not a Marvel fan in the least. I don't like superhero, cape shit stuff.
Oh,
I'm not a Marvel fan.
We also I forgot to mention we got more content for Marvel's Avengers. Go on.
Yeah, so I mean, literally the first half of this was Marvel, and then we got into Life is Strange, which I don't care about in the least. And so I mean, this was like, I mean, this was putting me to sleep. I was already like, entering REM sleep by the time they got to the Final Fantasy announcement, which quickly woke me back up because that was surprisingly really awesome. Yeah,
Chaos.
the goof one of the easily the goofiest reveal of E3, definitely the most memeable one that everyone's talking about. The reimagining of Final Fantasy One that we didn't know that we wanted, but now we really do with its goofy, anime dialogue and surprisingly fun-looking combat system. I mean, it actually looks okay. I was impressed. I'm like, okay, I can actually see myself getting behind this. It was just so out of left field in a way. Like, I mean, and really like hindsight 2020, it makes perfect sense. Like, I mean, they just, we just had Final Fantasy VII remake, and that's been a success. We look across at Capcom, that's basically been remaking all of the Resident Evil games, so it kind of makes sense. Like, why not just remake more Final Fantasy games? Like, why not remake Final Fantasy? If you're going to do 7, why not remake 1? Why not remake 10 eventually or something like that? I mean, go for the whole list. Why not? I mean, it's I mean, it's now to clarify, I mean, it is Stranger of Paradise is using Final Fantasy 1 as I think the direct quote was it's a motif so I mean, it's going to be a different game than 1, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's using that same kind of general motif and story and characters. So
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea. I mean, I'm a big fan of these remakes in general. I need to get around to playing Final Fantasy VII remake. I haven't done that yet, but even going back to like the Resident Evil ones. I mean, Resident Evil, the original kind of the remake that started it all back on the GameCube. That's an awesome game. I didn't really even like the original Resident Evil game, but I loved the GameCube remake that came out for that. So I'm all for this. This was a great way to end this because it really woke me up. And I mean, and I was really disappointed right out of the gate, not just because it was Marvel. I mean, Marvel stuff. I mean, we come to expect this now with Square Enix conferences. That's between Avengers and everything. We understand that that's a license they're going to keep using. I understand that. it was the fact that it was like, oh, hey, there's going to be a new game announced from Eidos Montreal, and we're like, okay, well, maybe no, there's no
Deus
way it could
Ex,
be.
Deus Ex,
Maybe it could be Deus
Deus
Ex.
Ex,
Maybe they could bring it
Deus
back.
Ex, Deus
It could
Ex.
be. It
That's
could be.
dude. Don't even get me wrong. If it was Deus Ex, you would have lost your mind. I even said it on the stream.
Oh yeah, yeah. I probably would have. It would have been because it would have been so unexpected, you know. Because I mean, but what they've shown us is they haven't learned their lessons from Avengers. They're going to keep chasing that Marvel dollar for now. So I you know, Guardians of the Galaxy will come out this year. I hope it is a spectacular failure.
That's
And
because, well, whatever, Spectre. You hate superhero games. You couldn't even like you platinum Spider-Man just because you want like you're like, well, it's an easy plat.
at least Spider-Man, to its credit, Spider-Man is a great turn your brain off style game and play.
You're
You know,
just
you don't really
whatever. Okay. Well, again, that's
it's a very relaxing game in a weird way because you can just kind of like, oh, I'm just gonna swing for the city, and the combat's very for the most part low effort, you know. So it's a very relaxing, you know, turn your brain off style of game.
I don't know why.
But yeah, which is perfect for you. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow. Yeah. So
okay, now what did you think? I know you probably loved every second of this. You love Marvel. You probably have like all the Funko
look,
Pops.
No, I no, I don't. Look, dude, like I will definitely say I am excited for Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. I am excited. And I may be in a small boat for that because I do know that Avengers has burned a lot of people. I know me and Mr. Dennison, we talked about what happened with Avengers. Like me and Mr. Dennison were looking forward to playing Avengers, and then it came out and it was a disappointment. And but with this Guardians of the Galaxy game, I'm excited about this game. I've already pre-ordered the deluxe edition, the Cosmic Deluxe edition. Like I'm going to be playing this, and it's a single player, story driven, third person action game with no DLC and no live service. You said everything I needed to hear in order to put more back faith into this Marvel game. Because if this was a live service game like Avengers, I would have been nope. You have proven it to be a failure. No. But this I am excited for, and it's a whole new story, and you play a Star-Lord, and the way we actually got to see gameplay of this, and that's what makes me even more excited of this, because I could have just got that first trailer, and I would have been hypeness, and that would have been it. But I would have still had my restraints or my worries about Guardians. But we got to see that gameplay demo of it where you play as Star-Lord, and Star-Lord you make conversation choices, and you can choose between, well, I agree with Groot, or I agree with Gamora. And then in combat, you have supers and stuff, and what you can do is you actually control all of the Guardians by Star-Lord being the leader. And so, like, you can hold, like, R2 or L2. You hold one of the triggers, and it pulls up a wheel for the 4 other Guardians. You choose,
basically Mass Effect.
Well, sure, fine. That's, like, look, I'm excited for this game. I am extremely excited for Guardians of the Galaxy. So, that's my big takeaway. Then, last but not least, on the final day, we had Nintendo. Which opened with Kazuya being the new character for Smash coming out in the DLC. So Tekken, yeah. Then we got Worms Rumble on Switch, which comes out, which is by Team 17. Comes out June 23rd, 2021. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 on Switch by Vicarious Visions, coming out June 25th of 2021. WarioWare Get Together by Nintendo EPD and Intelligent Systems, coming out September 10th of 2021. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, a new Power Awakens set by Cyber Connect 2, coming out September 24th, 2021. Astria Ascending by Artisan Studios, coming out September 30th, 2021. Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania by Gotoku Studio, coming out October 5th, 2021. Metroid Dread by Mercury Steam and Nintendo EPD, coming out October 8th, 2021. Mario Party Superstars by ND Cube, coming out October 29th, 2021. Cruisin' Blast on Switch by Raw by Raw Thrills, coming out fall of 2021. Shin Megami Tensei 5 by Atlas, coming out November 12th, 2021. Game & Watch, The Legend of Zelda version of it, coming out November 12th, 2021. Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp by Way Forward, coming out December 3rd, 2021. Danganronpa Decadence by Spike Chunsoft, coming out in 2021. Fatal Frame Maiden of Blackwater Remaster by Koei Tecmo in 2021. And then we also saw the Skyward Sword. And then we got Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 by Nintendo EPD, coming out 2022. Yeah, this is good. This was great. This was a great.
Yeah, I mean, really, really strong. I'll come right out and say it. I mean, this was my personal favorite conference. Yeah, I mean, very, very strong. Didn't blow me away like I mean, it wasn't like anything like super crazy here that just made me like jump out of my seat, but just a really solid lineup of games. And some surprises here too. I think the biggest surprise, aside from Super Monkey Ball, which was kind of random but very much welcome. Those are great games, so it's good to have a remaster kind of collection for those. Fatal Frame, which was Made in Blackwater, which is a game that I thought was going to be forever trapped on the Wii U. One of the handful of games that's still exclusive to Wii U. I thought that was going to stay there forever, and it was actually only on Japanese Wii U's. It was never ported to North America, so at least as far as I'm aware. Or maybe digitally they did. I can't remember. But it never had like a physical release in North America. So I mean, this is it's very nice to see that this is going to be on the Switch. So it's enjoyable by more people that aside from just the few that have a Wii U. So that was fantastic news. Showed off a couple other things here. A new Mario Party, which is great. Looks like they're kind of getting back to form on that, back to what we want in a Mario Party. Finally, we haven't really had a good solid Mario Party game since since like the Wii, since like Mario Party 8. And even that game was just okay in my opinion. So that's great that we're having a decent Mario Party come back. Yeah, I mean Tekken, and I mean it's great that Tekken has a representative for Super Smash, because he's basically my main for Tekken. I love Tekken. It's a great, fantastic fighting series, my favorite fighting series. So that was a really awesome pick, kind of out of nowhere, but it sort of fits this villain motif that we have for Ultimate. We've got like 4 new villains in Ultimate, so it kind of makes sense to have another kind of villain character. He's a little bit more of a complicated villain because he's not always a villain, but after the first game, he's basically the villain. So that's great. A great choice there. A WarioWare game, that was another surprise. I love WarioWare. It's a smaller title, but I mean that looks like it'll be fun as well too. Really, what probably impressed me the most, and it got me to the point of, from being just on the fence on it to now I'm probably considering buying it right away, is Shin Megami Tensei 5. Looks really awesome. We saw it before. I mean, it wasn't like a new announcement, but I mean, we got a pretty extensive gameplay preview of it with this trailer that they showed us, and it looks really, really fun. I like the Shin Megami games. I played more of the like side story games like Devil Survivor, stuff like that, and they're really solid games. Of course, I mean, it's the main series itself isn't really. It's more of a Japanese thing. It's kind of was later ported over, but yeah, I'm kind of excited for it. I went from just being like, oh, okay, this looks okay, but now I might actually pick that up. And then we ended on Breath of the Wild 2, which title to be determined. That's probably a temporary title.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, so another strong finish. I was hoping that we'd get like a little bit more of a. I guess the only disappointing thing here, two disappointing things. One, I'm disappointed that we didn't see any kind of a nod to Star Fox. I was really hoping we would see something Star Fox related, but there's always next year. So maybe next year we'll see something for Star Fox. And then I was kind of sad that they didn't really do anything, and they didn't really take advantage of the Zelda anniversary. I mean, we have the Zelda Game & Watch, which is great. It's a nice little collectible item, just like we had for Mario. But Mario also got the All Stars, the 3D All Stars collection. Why can't we have something like that for Zelda? I know we're getting Skyward Sword,
There,
but but
I can tell you this right now. There are more Mario games than Zelda games, and it's just dude. Zelda games just print money. It prints Skyward Sword, prints money. Like
I mean, yeah, I mean, imagine even if they just went the lazy route, like you just did,
the only ones I could
like
think of is that you take the NES and SNES ones before you take like Zelda one.
well, I was going to say take I mean, you have two games that are basically already done. Just port them over. Take Twilight Princess and Wind Waker, the Wii U versions of them, and just throw them on a card, and maybe throw on like one more game on there. Maybe throw on like
Those games separately make money. That's money on the table.
I guess so. Yeah. Well, I mean,
that's money on the table.
By that same argument, you could have released, Mario Sunshine separately. You could have released Mario 64 separately.
There's more Mario games. Like yeah, like I'm glad. Like look, I'm thinking this in Nintendo's mind as a businessman. There are far more Nintendo Mario games than there are for Zelda games, and taking like those 3D Mario games and just putting them into a 3-pack, that definitely makes sense. Of course, they could have sold them separately. I don't know. You probably would have gotten people to buy because it was Galaxy, Sunshine, and then 64. People would have bought 64 by itself, but the other two would have been up in the air. Maybe Galaxy, but Sunshine, maybe not.
Oh, I disagree. Sunshine has a very, I mean, Sunshine was very well received. It's a great game, and the thing you have to remember about Sunshine is it's one of the hardest to actually play right now, because before the 3D collection, the only way you could play Sunshine was through the GameCube disc.
No, I know. Like
So I think it would have sold well even by itself.
I'm all I'm saying is yes, it would have sold well. I'm not saying it wouldn't like sell well. All three of them would sell well, but which ones would sell better? It would probably be 64 over the other two. But I could be wrong. But I'm glad they put them into a 3-pack. Yes, they could put like the original Zelda or Toon Link or the other ones into it. I don't know, but I'm not surprised that they're gonna put them into separate games. But we got Skyward Sword, and that's coming out too, so that's fine. And I'm looking forward to playing Skyward Sword. But for me, 4 things. I got excited for 4 things. Like I lost my mind over 4 things. One, of course, Kazuya, because I love Smash Brothers and I love Tekken. And Bob is my guy. And if they put Bob into, it won't happen. But if they put Bob into as a Tekken, like from Tekken into Smash, I'd lose my mind. But Kazuya, who is like on the poster, he's on the front of the box. That's the guy. That's Tekken. Yeah, and now you got Ken, which is you just want to play Street Fighter. You got King of Fighters, and you got Tekken. Yeah, and they just play like their fighting games too, and that's what I love. So I lost my mind over that. Metroid Dread. Oh my god. I cannot wait to play that game. I already pre-ordered my amiibos. I already pre-ordered.
It does look good. I'm not like a Metroid fan, but I mean, I do
love Metroid. Oh my god, I love Metroid, and like Metroid Fusion was the game that got me into Metroid. Oh, I cannot wait to play Metroid Dread. And then my childhood was Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp. Oh my god, I cannot wait to play that game.
I forgot about that. Yeah, that's right. That's in there too. Yeah, that also great. I mean,
oh my god, like I wore that game out on my GBA way back in the day. Oh, I love Advance Wars. And then, of course, like just like everyone else, I lost my mind over Legend of Zelda 2: Breath of the Wild. We also got we got announcement for an expansion pass for Hyrule Warriors: Age of Calamity, which I enjoy. Hyrule Warriors, I enjoy that game, so I'll be getting that expansion pass. Yeah. So, but like, yeah, if this was fantastic. This was absolutely great, and Nintendo was really, really good. So final takeaways, my man, because those are all the big conferences.
Those are all the big conferences. Yeah, I would say, like I said, Nintendo was probably my personal favorite. Just a really solid conference. just really. I mean, we of course we wanted they left us wanting more. We wanted to. We wanted more about the Switch Pro. I mean, we knew ahead of time they weren't going to talk about it, but we kind of wanted some information on that. I mean, overall, they just left us wanting more. I mean, it was a solid show. Couple of little surprises in there, nothing like oh my god, end of the world type of stuff, but really solid. Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to like pick like a game of show
Yeah,
um
and mind
I,
you,
I
and Game of Show is most anticipated game. It's like the game that we are most excited for from E3. So, but go on. I just want to explain that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I have a game in mind for it. Just and my simple criteria for it is if I could play any of these games, like first, which one would I play first? So that's kind of my criteria for
That's
best
fine.
game of show essentially.
That's
So,
fine.
but yeah, overall, I mean, like I said, I stand by what I said in the beginning. I think this was overall pretty disappointing. I think just I don't think we're ever going to have the magic. I mean, maybe Sony being part of it was needed because then you had like one more big conference to have those kind of magic moments in it. But I don't know. Maybe that was it. Maybe it's not. E3 just kind of has lost that magic for me. Yeah, I miss I miss like the big events, the big reveals, the drama of it. It doesn't feel like it's there anymore. It feels like these are just really just kind of announcements that could be made via Twitter or something like that, or through a press release. It just doesn't really. There's not really much of a wow factor to it anymore.
Well,
Um,
I think partially for that is that we now have that. If you before when you loved like back in like 2012, 2013, 2014, we didn't have Twitter and like YouTube and stuff like new announcements and stuff. I think it's now because we get that kind of more often. It because of the stuff outside of E3, to you, E3 doesn't feel as special because now we get a game announcements whenever from Sony, from Microsoft, from Nintendo, from whoever
Yeah,
on.
it's kind of like for an analogy here, it'd be like if imagine you had Christmas, but instead of Christmas, you took away Christmas, and every like 3 or 4 months randomly you get a present. Like you get like let's say you got like 10 presents at Christmas, but instead of getting 10 presents at Christmas, now you get maybe one present at Christmas or two.
No.
And now they're like interspersed throughout the year.
I
So I mean,
think
it's
no,
different.
it's more like this. It's more like you get 10 presents at Christmas, you still get 10 presents at Christmas. But now every 3 months or every other month you get another present. So you get a present this month, you get a present this month. So it's the factor of declining um it's the factor of decline returns. It's the one where it keeps happening and keeps happening. It's the same thing, and because the one event where everything gets announced, but now we get it kind of throughout the year, and then you have the big thing, and then you get it throughout the year. If it the other things that happen around it lessens the big event. I think that's why that E3 for the past few years has felt so blah to you. Does that make sense?
No, but yeah, no, I understand what you're saying.
Okay. God, Jesus, I was about to go ahead and go on a tangent. So most anticipated game of show. What is it?
I guess like I said, I'm going off of the standard of what would I play right now. What I think is the most interesting to play. Like if out of all the games I said that I enjoyed, which one would I play right now first? I'm surprised I'm going to say this, but it is kind of a toss up. But I guess I'm going to give it to I am going to give it to Strangers of Paradise, Final Fantasy.
Okay. All right. Awesome.
I almost said Shin Megami. I was like this close to it, and Stalker's up there too. But I think I'm gonna give it to Strangers of Paradise. It looks goofy and fun, and it looks like a game that's I don't know. Maybe it's just my bias, that I've started to develop towards like in favor of more Japanese centric games. I just there's something about them. I don't know. It's hard. It's not just the memeable quality of it. I mean, the meme is one part of it, but I think another part of it is, I mean, it does actually genuinely look like a fun game to play. It's got some kind of like, kind of like almost like a Devil May Cry kind of aggressive combat
Mm-hmm.
kind of vibe to it in a way, but mixed with a Final Fantasy RPG.
Yeah.
The story looks ridiculous. The characters look ridiculous. But I mean, that's all part of its charm, I think.
Yeah.
Charming, kind of like delightfully unexpected game of E3, in my opinion. Everything else just seems very by the numbers. Kind of what I was expecting. I mean, this was something that I didn't know I wanted, but now I kind of want it. So yeah, as strange as it is, I'm not even. I don't. The funny part about it is, for me, and the reason why it's awkward is I don't consider myself a Final Fantasy fan. I played quite a few Final Fantasy games, but I definitely do not consider myself a Final Fantasy fan. It's sort of like Metal Gear Solid. Like I played pretty much all the Metal Gear Solid games, but I'm very much not a Metal Gear Solid fan.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but there's something about this one where it has this charm to it. So yes, I think that's final answer. I'm going with Strangers of Paradise.
Okay, awesome. All right, well, awesome, Spectre. I know this was we pretty much went through everything. I'll be talking to Guru Blaze about everything about this. But yeah, so that's Spectre's opinions of E3 2021. I'll be having mine at the end. And we'll be getting Guru Blaze's next. So go ahead and say goodbye, Spectre.
Goodbye. Thank you. I guess.
All right, hello there, and now we have Guru Blaze finally on camera. Yes, Guru Blaze.
I know. I have been on camera in the past, but the last times were when I was at your place.
It was before COVID. It was before the pandemic. But
back in my day,
hey,
when we could sit next to each other on the same camera.
Yeah, I miss them days. But Guru Blaze, it has been a while. Sadly, we weren't able to get you onto the reaction streams, to the live streams. So before we
I know I wanted to be there. Trust me, everyone, but couldn't be there.
That's fine. So before we kind of get into each of the different conferences, what did you think of E3 as a whole?
Because I kind of gave myself the crash course, just to be honest, but I did get the gist.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the actual announcements parts of it, as far as like people coming out, I didn't see as much of that because I was more focused on the games.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
but I think, I mean, I'm not gonna say it's like I feel like everyone wants to say, oh, it's bad, or it's like every year everyone says that same thing. So I feel like it's lost meaning to say that. I think it was an entertaining show.
Mm-hmm.
It was enjoyable to watch. They put on as much spectacle as I think they could.
Mm-hmm.
It's, again, not a convention anymore. However, you can almost do more with that in ways, and then also less. So I think that the main comparison for me is like comparing like a fully live E3 as it used to be to what it is right now.
Yeah.
Is digitally there's such less like overhead, so I think they can put so much more into the presentation because they're not paying to set up a spectacle in real life. They can put all those production resources into just again, you still saw people come out, but it's like the costs are allowed to be, I think, allocated probably much more efficiently, and you get a higher quality. But then the other thing that can't have is just that simple, visceral live show where, you see someone walk out of the corner, or, it's like the surprises and things like that, because they feel less surprising when you know that it was pretty much orchestrated, as opposed to, but no, I thought it was, I mean, again, I watched it for the games. And so for me, it showed off games that I'm interested in, which is really all I can get into it with.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, and as a big overall like preface, I think indie games really stole the spotlight for me this year.
Good. Okay, that's good. I mean, I know I had my talk with Spectre before you, and he was like, this is a bad E3 again, and I talked about he kind of talked about how it's not as special anymore, and I used the example of like how like at Christmas you get like 10 presents, but the kind of how I explained to him where it doesn't feel as special anymore is because now throughout the year we still get announcements from PlayStation and Xbox and Nintendo and other people throughout the year, not just at E3. So it's like the example I use is like, so you have Christmas and you get 10 presents, but throughout the year, every 3 months, every other month, whatever, you're given one present. So
Right.
it makes Christmas less special because you're given presents like every other month or every 3 months or whatever it will be. And it's the law of diminishing returns. There it is. There's the word. Couldn't think of it last time. It's the law of diminishing returns.
Dude, that the law of diminishing returns is everywhere. Everywhere you look.
I couldn't think of the phrase when I was talking to Spectre about it, but that was the example I used. And I mean, for me, I disagree. I love E3. I still think it's very, very fun. I thought this E3 was solid, but it was really, there were some showcases like
You know
Capcom
what I
and
just noticed?
Gearbox.
I don't want to cut you off,
Oh, you're fine.
but I just noticed you got a BOG T-shirt, which I didn't know was a thing, and you didn't even tell me about it.
Yes. So,
You didn't tell me
I
about it.
surprised Guru Blaze with this. Yes, we are now.
I'm here wearing this nondescript Nike fucking stretch shirt, and I could be repping the brand. You don't even let me know. Who did your logo?
Pretty much the logo. We, as you can see, we've been new branding and everything. Pretty much we had a bunch of branding being done by one of the members of the Brotherhood of Geeks. So we have a bunch
Which
of.
wasn't me, even though I have a degree, you son of a bitch. I'm going to say whoever did it did a good job. So
good.
That's coming from someone who had to go to school.
I will definitely tell you. I will tell you a little bit later. But yes, it was one of the members of the Brotherhood of Geeks. And yes, it was very much this. And
basically, I just want one, is what I'm saying.
That's fine. That's okay. Like, that's fine. As you can see, we have merch and stuff. So if that is something that you guys do want, along with you, Guru Blaze, if you guys do want that, please let us know in the comments that you would like to get merch, shirts, and that kind of stuff. Let us know in the comments so that way we can take the steps to make it accessible for everyone. And yes, I surprised you with merch now.
One other thing while we're on the subject before we move on.
Yes.
Now that I know you have a merch store, which again I didn't know. I'm definitely just going to be throwing you designs for fun that I make for the show now, because I wanted to make apparel since I started doing it.
Okay.
And now I have one.
That's fine.
And you don't have to pay for them because you're my friend.
Yay! 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 Okay. So, with all that housekeeping put aside, or at least a surprise to Guru Blaze, which yay. So we begin E3 with Summer Game Fest kickoff. It wasn't officially part of E3, but that's kind of the start of what everything was. I've already gone through the breakdown with Spectre. So Guru Blaze, what did you think of Summer Game Fest kickoff? What did you think of Summer Game Fest?
I thought, again, I think all throughout E3 this year that other than a few select big boy titles, that the indie games really, because I'm big into really good art styles and unique settings, and smaller games like that seem to really be bringing that to the table a lot more than most of the other ones, in my opinion. But I think it was a solid showing. I mean, tippy top is Elden Ring, obviously.
Oh man!
And, oh my god, dude! I can't wait.
I lost my mind.
Again, I'm still playing through Dark Souls Remastered. I'm still on my first playthrough. I've never beaten it, and I'm on the tail end of Bloodborne. and like halfway through Sekiro because those are long games and I have too many games to focus on, one for too long, as I'm sure you know.
Yeah.
But like, it looks gorgeous. I'm sure it's going to be phenomenal. I can't wait to see because they've had such an amazing formula, which is like why you have the term Soulsborne games.
Yep.
They essentially like made a genre, and I can't wait to see like what tweaks and things they've added to either the combat mechanics or just how their world functions because it's always been like not it's like bare bones until you discover all of the different things you can do, and that's like I think an awesome mechanic of gameplay. But other than that, I think they had a solid setup. I mean, out of what they showed, Vampire the Masquerade Blood Hunt
Yeah.
definitely piqued my interest. I never played the original one, but it's definitely. I mean, I've listened to podcasts like describing the game, and it definitely sounds up my alley. Jurassic World. I know that because Jurassic World Evolution, it's like I'm pretty sure isn't that like the like Roller Coaster Tycoon?
It's a sim.
Type?
It's kind of
Yeah.
similar to that. It's like you are running Jurassic Park.
Mhm.
You're building it, and you're like where dinosaurs go. Yeah.
I'm sure that'll be good, but I'm just not into those types of sims. Like there are sims I do like Civ and things like that,
Yeah.
but I don't know. Playing Logistics Operator 2000 for me and that being the whole game just doesn't appeal to me as much. Other than that, Sky Children of Light looked really interesting art wise. I thought that was really cool looking. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, obviously, which that was one of the best parts of that game. So they're just kind of I like that they're building like off of that
Oh, it's gonna be
older
great.
Tina. Yeah, and I think that'll be super cool. And then I mean Sable like had really really striking artwork.
Yeah, it
and so I'll
did.
probably checking that out just for that alone.
Yeah, I would say for me, like I mean, I lost my mind over Elden Ring. I lost my mind over that. So
It looks so good.
like
Oh
Elden
my god.
Ring and
Just the creature designs of oh my god, it's just like Japan.
oh, dude.
They know how to make just the most beautifully fucked up looking things, in my opinion. I mean, we're talking Silent Hill, Evil Within, Resident Evil, like almost any major game with like the most grotesque things you can imagine in it
Yeah.
can come from there.
So yeah. So I mean, Summer Game Fest was, in my opinion, pretty solid. So yeah. So probably what was the game that you from here that you're most excited for? Elden Ring. Great. Let's move on.
I mean, is there any question?
No, I'm right. It's just Elden Ring. All right. So then we move on to day one of E3 of actual E3 on the 12th of June. So at first we used to have the Ubisoft press conference or the Ubisoft showcase. What did you think of Ubisoft?
It was all right.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what I.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like again, I mean, and I've never because I've yet to get a Switch. I just have been lazy about it, and I have so many games, like so many, and consoles. Just one of the few I don't have.
Yeah.
Because it's like I barely have time to play all the ones I have.
Yeah.
But I do want to play Mario and Rabbids because it's basically XCOM, and I'll play any game that functions in an XCOM-esque way. I just love those kinds of strategy games, and it'd be kind of cool to have one. I mean, I'm not super keen on Rabbids as an IP. I think they're kind of dumb and stupid looking.
Well, they're the.
I know it's from the Rayman universe.
Yeah,
and all
but
that.
like but they behave more similar to the Minions.
Yeah, and it's just again, there's nothing wrong with it. Like obviously, someone making way more money than both of us was involved in creating around, so obviously they did something. But I don't know. I just think that the Rabbids as a design choice and just as characters, they just aren't incredibly obnoxious to me. And like, but I would still play it because I mean, it's got some Mario characters in it. And again, like, it'd be cool to play like an XCOM type game, but with like Mario based weaponry and upgrade system. It'd be very interesting. Other than that, I mean, I've been getting into drive games lately a little bit, playing a little Forza Horizon and stuff. So Riders Republic definitely looked a little interesting. I like motorcycles, so I mean, if it ever comes on like free 1 month or something, I'll probably get that. Other than that, I don't really care about anything else.
What'd you think about Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora? That was the big like go home. That was the like the main event, the finale of the Ubisoft.
Mhm.
What'd you think of that? I'm curious about your opinions on that.
It looks cool. I think that the Avatar universe is a great setting, for sure.
Yeah.
Um, for me, it'll come down to like, I mean, I would play it because the combat is up my alley, and it definitely, like, again, I'm sure it's going to have an amazing score, and I'm a big music buff when it comes to a game that definitely can sell a game to me. Visually, obviously, you got this, I mean, when I went to Disney World a couple years back,
Yeah.
the in Pandora in the Jungle Kingdom or whatever,
Yeah.
they have like a flight of the Avatar ride or whatever, where like you're on this somewhat AR like thing where you're riding one of those flying creatures. And I rode the dude. It was it's literally the best ride I've ever been on. I went on it 12 times. Like,
nice.
It was,
Nice.
anyone who's never gone, if you go there, that is literally like the only ride you need to go on. And you don't even really go. It just like breathes and moves. And
I
it's
will
crazy.
definitely say I haven't been to Disney or in a while, so I haven't been to there with the Marvel training.
The Star Wars
camp,
was
the
really
Star
cool
Wars
too.
Galaxy's
It was good to
Edge.
see
I haven't
it.
been there. It's been a while, but I very much will do it. Like as you saw my reactions and with it, like when Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora showed up, I very much laughed at this trailer just because I'm like, what? Why is this happening? And it's not because it's a bad thing. Like the trailer
You think
looks.
it's to build hype so that you can get enough money to put out the second movie?
Oh God, I don't know, but like.
Tell me that didn't that
Oh,
doesn't make
I
sense.
totally thought that. I'm like, is this because the next movie's coming out? Like, what's happening? And I look, the trailer looked good, and it's on the new Snowdrop engine that they've been using on like Rainbow Six and the more recent Assassin's Creeds. But I am very cautious about this game because Ubisoft developed Avatar the game back in 2009, and
they also didn't show any gameplay in the trailer.
It's
really
just
either.
a straight trailer, dude. That's why when you were talking about combat, I'm like, what kind of combat?
I said, but it looks like it would have that kind of combat from just my intuition on it, and also because that type of combat is such a proof, like the Soulsborne.
Oh, the third person.
Melee.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a proven system. I mean, we're talking Horizon Zero Dawn, every From game, obviously, Code Vein, every other, game that's come out that's kind of emulated that. And or Fallen Order, another perfect example. But I think from the look of it, it just feels like that's where it's going to go. It may not, but that's the feeling I get. And I would definitely be interested to play it if it was. Otherwise, I don't know what other kind of game style you really would do.
I don't know
in a game like that.
But like as I said, like I am very cautious about it because Ubisoft developed Avatar the game back on the PS3 back in 2009, and that game is bad. That game is. You just play that for an easy.
I didn't play that game because it looked bad.
Well, that exactly. It is an easy plat, and that's all it's good for.
Well, right, and it's like most other movie games that just come out and then they're just, as long as it's functional, get it out the door. I need to, ash my cigar, on my.
But like it was, yeah. So, but yeah. So the next conference we had was Devolver Digital. What did you think of this one?
This one, probably one of my favorite, like smaller collection of games.
It's fantastic.
Almost all of them look interesting to me. Death's Door, Inscription, Tumble Time, Demon Throb. But Trek to Yomi is like something I need to play. Like that game is super up my alley. And I mean, I'm still playing through Tsushima, but like that game looks like, I mean, just the side scroll, the black and white, Kurosawa type, look to it. That looks super sick, and it almost looks like the old samurai movie version of a game like Katana Zero, but with less flashiness and ridiculousness.
Yeah.
But like that, a samurai game where you're just side scrolling and just, oh man, I mean, on a lot of levels, I'm excited for that game.
Oh yeah. I mean, I also would say, I mean, I love the Devolver Digital Conference. I love how it just satirizes the video game industry just in general. Is fantastic. And I think I said this before, but Trek to Yomi is probably the one I'm looking forward to most also from that conference. So yeah. Next, after that, we move on to, I believe, day 2. This was on Sunday. Yes. So the next big conference we had was Xbox and Bethesda, the Xbox and Bethesda Game Showcase. Tell me what you thought.
They had a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, in comparison, only because the volume of stuff they had was larger than most other conferences. But there was definitely several games that I'm interested in, for sure. I mean, Origami 2, I didn't expect that. And I really like the first Origami. Stalker 2, I super down for that because the first one was such a phenomenal game. Plague Tale looks amazing. Somerville looked pretty interesting. And Psychonauts 2. Also Diablo 2, just because a revamped Diablo 2 on console would be great.
So I forgot to bring this up when I was talking to Spectre, but the other game that I'm excited for, like the games I'm excited for is 12 Minutes, Halo Infinite, Plague Tale Requiem. I am looking forward to Starfield and Redfall. But I also forgot to mention Psychonauts 2. I am so excited for this game. It will be coming to PlayStation, I think, later. I think it's timed exclusive, I believe, but I could be wrong. But regardless, I've been excited for Psychonauts 2 for a very long time. It's going to be so much fun to play, and I'm so glad that Microsoft bought Double Fine, because I know, like, I love Tim Schafer and I love all of his games, but I do know that Tim Schafer and his crew have struggled to make games that when they haven't been backed by one of the more powerful publishers. So them.
I also forgot Replaced. I am
yes.
stoked for that game.
Yes.
That game looks fucking super dope.
Yeah, so
the style of it alone is just, oh my god, that visual style is incredible.
Like the Xbox came out swinging, and I was talking to Spectre about this, but I think this conference very much explained and gave you a point where this is why you want to play on PC or play on Xbox. This is why you want a Game Pass. Because every PlayStation fan or anyone who has critiqued Xbox has been like, where are your games? You don't have any. You don't have any exclusives. You got nothing. This conference very much proved them wrong. Like Starfield, that's a straight up and down Xbox exclusive. It is not timed. They have come out and said this is a Xbox exclusive. Mind you, Spectre thinks I'm wrong. Spectre thinks that they're going to go the Cuphead route where Xbox said Cuphead is exclusive and then now it's on Nintendo and PlayStation. But they bought Bethesda. This is Starfield's going to be an exclusive, and I think with that, Fallout's going to be an exclusive. Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be an exclusive. All that kind of stuff. So, gives you a big reason to play on the Game Pass, to get a Game Pass, play on Xbox, that kind of stuff.
And since I have an Xbox One now, I should be able to.
Yeah, like because they want everyone to be able to play on Series X, and again, it's like they are showing reasons why you should get a Series X, or just get a Game Pass in general. It's fantastic. And this is coming from a PlayStation fan. Like, I have my gripes with Game Pass, and I have my own thoughts about it, but that's for another time. But yeah, like it was this, and then one of the other conferences that this and Nintendo were pretty much the two where I'm like, ooh, which one is better? But this one was really, really good. So then after that, we had the Square Enix Presents. And pretty much this one was taken up by like almost like half of it was by Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. And then we had a bunch of other ones. Then we ended on Stranger Paradise Final Fantasy Origin. So what'd you think of this Square Enix Presents?
I mean, they didn't have a lot in volume, but I think that everything they showed was definitely, very polished looking. And I look forward to Stranger Paradise. That looked interesting. And I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy definitely looks like it's worth a play. And I'm always down for any game like Hitman stealth action. So
Yep.
Hitman Sniper of the Shadows also piqued my interest.
Yep.
Life is Strange is good too, but I mean, I've played it, so.
But True Colors. True Colors is the new one.
True.
Like, I'm looking forward to that. Like, honestly, like, Square Enix didn't have a lot of games, but like it was like, oh, I want to play True Colors. Going to get the remaster. Definitely going to be playing Guardians. And I'm extremely excited for, as I said with Spectre, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy is a single-player, third-person, narrative-driven game with no DLC and no live service. So it is a single-player game.
Again, like I said, that third-person combat will get me every time. Like, as long as it's well done,
And
I will play a game that has those mechanics.
And I talked about it with Spectre, but like they showed a demo of this. I think this was the only demo we got from all of E3 where it's like, nope, this is gameplay and this is how it's going to be done and everything. Where you play a Star-Lord, it's not you switch between the different Guardians, but you still control the other Guardians by like you hold R2 or L2, you hold one of the triggers, it pulls up a wheel for one of the Guardians, you press like triangle for Rocket, and then Rocket has 4 different moves, and then you choose which one, and then he does them. Like, it's fantastic. It looks so much fun. I cannot wait to play it, and I am optimistic for it. Even we did get some, we got some trailers for like the new expansion for Black Panther from Marvel's Avengers, but like that, you've already burned me on that game, and I don't think that one expansion is enough. Along with all the other content, you need more. Like, it's going to have to kind of go the route of No Man's Sky and Rainbow Six Siege, and where it's going to take time if people come back, and they can't just drop it. Like, Square Enix just needs to continue putting effort into that game. But yeah, very solid. And then Stranger Paradise looked really chaos. Oh,
yeah, it was pretty funny.
So it was so good.
But that's what I love about Final Fantasy is like it could just be goofy like that and still tell a good story if it's done right.
And then after that we did have some other conferences. So like we did on day 3 we had like Verizon and Television, Take-Two Interactive Panel, Mythical Games, Indie Showcase, Freedom Games, Capcom, and Razer. Man, that Capcom conference was nothing. Hey, here are all the games that you already know about. Done. But on day 4, which was on Tuesday, we had the Nintendo Showcase.
It's making me want to buy a Switch even more.
Yeah, tell me about Nintendo, my man. Tell me about your opinion of Nintendo.
Fatal Frame. I've always wanted to play that, and now that a remaster is going to come out, I love horror games like that, and there's barely any of them anymore. So I'm super excited for that. I'm really interested in Advance Wars. 'Cause
Yes, yes. Oh, I cannot wait to play it.
I didn't know about that game prior, but just seeing the gameplay, I'm like, oh man, this is a game I could like. That's my strategy itch right there.
Dude, that's my childhood. Oh my god, that's my childhood right there. I played that game into oblivion on my GBA, and I love it. I love Advance Wars. Oh, it's so
And
good.
then, I mean, let's see, Super Monkey Ball. That'd be awesome. I love Super Monkey Ball. Played that on my GameCube quite a lot. They're coming out with the new one. Tony Hawk. Yeah, cool. Dragon Ball Z, we'll see, because it's other than the fighting game that what was it? Arc System Works did Dragon Ball Fighter Z.
Yeah.
It was like the one which was phenomenal. There, it's been a while since a good one outside of like the PS2 era.
Wow.
Cruisin' Blast looks like a good time. Shin Megami Tensei, hell yeah, because I love Atlas Studios.
Yes.
I still have to play the first Breath of the Wild, but I'm sure Breath of the Wild 2 will be also phenomenal.
Yeah, dude.
And then I wanted to end on what you're going to go off on, which is Metroid Dread.
Oh boy. Oh, also before I go on that, Kazuya from Tekken was announced as a character for the Smash expansion for the Fighter Pass 2. Oh.
And dude, I just love how he just drops everyone in a volcano.
Oh, dude.
Like during the trailer.
Oh,
it's because it's like, like this dude is a psychopath, and you're putting him in a Nintendo licensed game.
Oh, dude.
But I just love how Sakurai, his like fatherly love for Kirby as his creation.
Yeah.
Like he drops Kirby and he just floats back and he just like, oh well.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, oh no, Kirby's broke.
And the fact that he starts his whole Cliff Massacre with Ganondorf, like just takes Ganondorf down and throws him in a cliff.
Oh, dude.
I just like that because it's like, man, if you could just take down Ganondorf in a fist fight, you got it. You got it.
Like, I love it. Like you now have 3 fighting games inside of Smash, because you have Ryu, who you're just playing Street Fighter. You have
wasn't Ken in it too?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, it's Ryu and Ken. But I think Ken plays a bit differently than Ryu.
Slightly,
yeah. So you have those two, which are playing Street Fighter, and then you have King of Fighters, and now you have Tekken. So
wait, who from? Oh yeah, Terry. That's right. Terry's a beast.
You have Terry from King of Fighters.
Because I love King of Fighters.
Yep.
And you know what? The only thing I'm waiting for now is they need to put a Blaze Blue character.
There you go. That's what you need.
There's so many to pick from. They just need to do it. They obviously have the pull to just, hey, you want your character in Smash? Who's gonna say no? Who's gonna say no? And I want my character in one of the biggest fighting games that probably next to Mortal Kombat that exists.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, like. Oh, I lost my mind when Kazuya showed up, but yeah, dude, Metroid Dread. I can't wait. I already pre-ordered my special edition. I already pre-ordered my amiibos for it. Oh, dude, I cannot wait for that game. Cannot wait for it.
Yeah, and I think because again, I mean, I've always been interested in Metroid. I've never beaten any of them. I played, Super Metroid. I played Other M. I remember the first GameCube one, the good one. Which one was that? It wasn't the Other M. The one before that.
Was it Metroid Prime? I could be wrong.
Yeah, that one. It was. I just remember being really fun, and that was cool. It was like a first person, but I think that not only are they going back.
Metroid Prime. Metroid Prime.
Yeah,
first person.
That was a solid game.
But
they're going back to 2D, and it's like a horror. It's like a spookier atmosphere, which I think is really cool because it's like space horror.
Well, dude, like Metroid Fusion was that kind of the same thing. Like that's what got me into Metroid. Oh, I love Metroid Fusion. Oh, Metroid Fusion is oh man, that was really good. Um, that one was fantastic. Metroid Fusion. That's what made me fall in love with Metroid. I'm like, oh, it's this, yes, please, all of it. And this is the first 2D Metroid game in over 19 years. That's
Well, it's like 2.5D, but yeah,
oh yeah,
because it's like 3D on a 2D, plane
but
basically.
it's side scrolling. It's a side scroller.
Right.
It's
Platform.
yep. So I can't wait to play this. Oh my
Oh, yeah.
god, I cannot wait to play that. Because for me it was like four big takeaways. It was Kazuya being in Smash. It was Metroid Dread. It was Advance Wars 1 and 2. And then, of course, Legends of Zelda, Breath of the Wild 2, and then all the Zelda stuff. So, like the expansion for Age of Calamity and the Game & Watch for Legends of Zelda. Like, it was fantastic. So, yeah, that's pretty much what we got for E3. So, your most anticipated game, what's your most anticipated game from Nintendo?
The hard choice. I'd probably have to say probably Fatal Frame, honestly,
Okay.
because it's just more like it's a game that I love. I have an innate love for like that kind of spooky psychological horror,
Yeah.
and not again a lot of the games that they're all very good, and I played predecessors to some of them, but having a remaster of like an old school classic horror game like that, and like I'm pumped for that.
Okay. So for you,
Sorry to disappoint you.
no,
You
you're
sound
fine.
so excited.
Look,
Like,
a Fatal
well,
Frame.
okay, you can have a wrong decision on your end over there, but
Hey,
let
look.
me just tell you what the real game is.
No, don't give me that guru. Don't give me that. Like, don't give me that guru. Like, for me, like, look.
I'm so excited for you, dude.
No, like for me, it like Fatal Frame is not my kind of bag. Like, I'm not a fan of the
And
horror
I
stuff.
know,
Like,
but
but I'm
I
excited for
crave that
Metroid
because
Dread.
there's none of
So
it.
I'm excited for Metroid Dread. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just wrong. I don't know. I don't know anything. Um.
I really hope that Metroid Dread just gets like super grotesque
Oh
at some
wow.
point, and because think about it, think about what a shift that would be,
That would
you
be a
know?
shift.
Because the
That would
thing
be
is
crazy.
a lot of the characters in Metroid are. It's like you already have amazing monsters and creatures to draw off of. You could easily, with like the better graphics that they're now using, make just some like Mother Brain or any of the Metroids themselves, any like Ridley, if they decide to bring him into it, like you could just make it a spooky game. You're in space, you
Yeah.
know. You got a woman with bird DNA who can contort into a ball. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's yeah. First, which was best in show? Which had the best presentation? Which who won E3?
Elden Ring.
No, like the like which conference? Which
Elden Ring.
okay, so summer game. Is it just summer game?
Sorry.
Is it summer game fest with Elden Ring in it? Is it just that
From
one?
software
It's
one.
okay. I
No,
mean, it's
sorry, I couldn't
okay.
help myself.
Like if it's summer game
But
fest,
I'd say overall, I think Xbox Bethesda had the best overall showing.
okay.
But I say that, and it's like that they did have a bunch of phenomenal looking games.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I think it also is because they had the greatest volume
Mm-hmm.
of games. So it's almost by default there was more to pick out of, as you know. But I would say if I were to choose them, I'd say Devolver
Okay.
had the best show for being smaller.
Okay.
But I think overall Xbox Bethesda just had the most titles, collectively within one conference.
And that's
that I'm
fine. And that's fine. Like I mean, again, the way we kind of look, like each of us look at it. Like for me, it's like okay, which conference made me get the most hype? Like which one did I lose my mind over more, or longer, or whatever? And it's hard. But for me, it's between Xbox and Nintendo. But this is a stupid question because I think I already know this one. What is the game of show? What is the one you are most anticipated for? Is it Elden Ring? Elden Ring. Okay? Elden Ring? Elden
Yeah.
Ring. All right.
So,
So it's Elden Ring?
yeah, so
Oh, okay.
I mean, although I will say that Replaced and Trek to Yomi are almost like equivalent. Like those two are like the very standouts for me. I want to play both of those very badly.
Okay. All right. Well, very good. Very, very good. So
Not everybody's favorite has to be a big AAA, Brett.
whatever, dude. Whatever, girl. Like, that's fine. That's
Not everyone can see it, but he's sitting on a high horse right now.
Hey, man. I won. This is not a horse. This is a chair. And one, I don't.
Yeah, well, no one can see it, so how do they know? Maybe he's just a really quiet pony. You have a muzzle on it, so nobody knows.
You're terrible. You're terrible.
Dude, but I mean, think about this, though. How amazing would it be if you just pan down and you're literally just doing a podcast on a horse? All of it. Like somehow no one's noticed this entire time.
That's terrible.
And you just gallop out gallop out your back door down the stairs of the apartment. Like,
that's crazy. All right, so this is definitely that's Guru Blaze. So yeah, awesome. I'm so glad that I could have you here, Guru Blaze, to talk about E3. I very much am glad that we got to discuss E3 and discuss all of that with you. And we're going to be doing a lot more stuff. We're going to be seeing more of you on the channel in person, on camera. Yay!
Yeah, you're right.
Alrighty, well,
maybe I'll wear a funny hat next time.
Of course. Alrighty then. Well, that's Guru Blaze. Go ahead and say bye to the people, Guru Blaze.
Bye.
Well, a lowly tarnished, playing as a lord, I command thee now!